The director of the CDC stressing that these new school guidelines are not a mandate that schools reopen. Instead, the goal is to provide schools with the, quote, long-needed roadmap. The new guidance from the CDC laying out 5 key strategies for schools to follow. Those include wearing masks, physical distancing, washing hands, cleaning facilities and improving ventilation, and doing contact tracing, isolation, and quarantining. All strategies that Connecticut schools have been working hard to implement. That's according to Fran Rabinowitz with the Connecticut Association of Public School Superintendents and Donald Williams with the Connecticut Education Association.
I think we're leaders in implementing those regulations way back in the reopening of schools.
Teachers have had to work incredibly hard. Administrators have had to try and figure out the logistics and do the best that they can. So what CDC is saying is don't let down your guard.
The new CDC guidance is also broken down into 4 color-coded zones: blue, yellow, orange, and red. Blue indicating low community transmission and red indicating high transmission. The CDC is still recommending that schools, even in that red zone, move forward with hybrid learning if mitigation strategies can be met, citing data that suggests in-person learning has not led to substantial community transmission.
Here in Connecticut, 95% of our schools are open. The kids have the option of in-person learning.
I think our level right now corresponds very closely with the blue level from the CDC guidance. And of course, I always wait for the DPH to discuss this with us because they're the health professionals, and that will be happening this evening.
The CDC does not list vaccination as a key strategy for opening schools, but says that educators should be prioritized.
The leading cause of closing our schools in the state of Connecticut is lack of staff due to folks having to quarantine. So the faster we get teachers and staff vaccinated at our schools, the fewer disruptions we're going to have.
And according to the Connecticut State website, vaccine scheduling information for frontline essential workers should be coming out soon. Angelo Bavaro, Fox 61 News.